There are a lot of weird rumors surrounding the upcoming iPad Air 4, and I think that we finally figured them out. So in this video, we're gonna break down those rumors and discuss which features we should expect and why Apple would make those changes. But first, I want to talk about the current status of the iPad Air 3. To be honest, it's in a really weird spot right now. The 2020 iPad Pro just came out, and it offers much better value compared to the Air, especially since it gets a 128GB SSD at the base price. And on the lower end, you can get a 10.2-inch iPad for $280 right now on Amazon, which comes with a smart connector, so it supports the same great keyboard cases as the iPad Air does, like the Logitech Combo Touch, which comes with a trackpad and a great keyboard. And of course, you also have the iPad Mini 5 for $400 if you want the same fast chip and display features. So right now, it doesn't really make sense to buy the current iPad Air compared to the other options. So with the upcoming iPad Air, Apple has to make it seem worth spending the extra cash over the budget iPad and the iPad Mini, while at the same time, it can't be so good that it cannibalizes the sales of the $800 iPad Pro. So how can Apple achieve this? Well, let's first take a look at some of the rumors on this new iPad Air. And by the way, shout out to Talos of Tech for his excellent videos on this topic. Last month, we got a supply chain rumor about a new 23-inch iMac and an 11-inch iPad coming in the second half of this year, which is certainly talking about the iPad Air since we already got an 11-inch iPad Pro redesign this year. And then it got weird when just a few days ago, even more rumors came suggesting a 10.8-inch iPad coming in the second half of 2020 and an iPad Mini with a larger size display coming next year. My first thought was maybe this 10.8-inch iPad is just the budget iPad with a larger display, possibly getting rid of the home button, but it just doesn't make sense because it's meant to be as cheap as possible, and they literally just bumped it up to a 10.2-inch display about 8 months ago. So I'm sure that this 10.8-inch iPad rumor is also talking about the iPad Air. So which one is it, 10.8 or 11? Well, get ready for this one. We think it's actually both, and let me explain why. When the 11-inch 2018 iPad Pro came out with a brand new design, the iPad Air 3 was built with the iPad Pro's old 10.5-inch design. Now what if Apple does this again? Imagine the iPad Air 4 being built with a 2018 11-inch iPad Pro's design. This would mean that it would come with support for the Apple Pencil 2 and its wireless charging feature, the new modern square edge design, and the new rounded corner display. But Apple has to be very careful because they can't make it so good that people stop buying the iPad Pro. So how can they achieve this? Well, instead of having an 11-inch display, it would come with a 10.8-inch display. So both the 11 and 10.8-inch rumors would make sense at the same time if the chassis was identical to the iPad Pro, but the display itself was slightly smaller. If you think about it, the 11-inch iPad Pro introduced a brand new 1.43 to 1 aspect ratio. So if the new iPad Air maintains the same old 4:3 aspect ratio, then the display size could actually be 10.8 inches while using the same exact metal chassis. It would just have slightly larger bezels on the top and bottom of the display. So this would make the new 10.8-inch iPad Air look modern and appealing, but the display on the iPad Pro would be slimmer and look better. However, there still needs to be some more differences to make the iPad Pro worth the extra $300 on top of the new iPad Air. So I think the Air is gonna come with the less powerful A13 processor, which, keep in mind, is already in every single new iPhone, including the iPhone SE, making it cheaper since they can mass produce it on a higher scale. It's also not going to have 120Hz ProMotion display technology, it's not going to have quad speakers, it's not going to have the new LiDAR scanner or the new ultra-wide camera, it's not going to have 600 nits of display brightness, and it's not going to have studio quality microphones. All of those features are reserved for the iPad Pro, and those differences alone are going to make it worth spending an extra $300 for the iPad Pro if you can afford it. But at the same time, the newer square edge design on the iPad Air is going to make it really appealing compared to the budget iPad options, pushing more people toward the new iPad Air. Now there are a few features that I'm not totally sure about. There's a chance it'll come with Face ID, and there's a chance that it'll come with a brand new under-display fingerprint sensor. And there's also a chance it'll come with a USB-C port, but it might even come with the old Lightning port to differentiate it a bit more. So I'm not completely sure about these two features. But what I do know for sure is that if the new iPad Air shares the same chassis as the current 11-inch iPad Pro, then it is 100% going to support the new Magic Keyboard case. The reason this makes sense for Apple is because the keyboard case likely has very high profit margins. So even if someone spent less money and chose the iPad Air over the Pro, Apple can later sell them on a Magic Keyboard case and make that difference back. And if you've seen my video on why that Magic Keyboard case is Apple's master plan, then you'll know that Apple wants as many of these keyboard cases in the hands of buyers as possible, since the Magic Keyboard and its unique floating iPad design is meant to be a symbol of the Apple brand. So there you have it. We get an iPad Air that looks fresh and modern, making people want to spend more money on an iPad purchase, while also not being good enough to cannibalize their iPad Pro sales. And the cherry on top is the Magic Keyboard case support to help Apple make some extra profit after the fact. Now there are some rumors about this iPad Air getting a mini LED display, but I can almost guarantee that no iPad is getting this display before the iPad Pro gets it first. And that probably won't happen until 2021, and then only after that we can expect the rest of the iPad lineup to get the new mini LED display. So the whole point of this video is that if you're thinking about buying either the budget iPad, the iPad mini, or the iPad Air, you should totally stop and wait for the new iPad Air. But if you're interested in the iPad Pro, go ahead and order one right now, since the iPad Air is still going to be missing a lot of the Pro features. And if you do decide to go with the Pro, we'll have links down below in the description to the best deals on the Pro models. So go ahead and tap the like button and click the circle above to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.